Hello and welcome to SEGA News Bits. I'm Barry, with me is George.
Tell me about the 4 Voodoo.
No. And we're going to be talking about the latest Shenmue 3 update. And I think for a lot of us, this is what we've been waiting for. It's been months and months of development, very, very little in terms of like behind the scenes peaks. Well, is this behind the scenes? I guess we'll discuss that. So Gamescom is in full swing, and Yu Suzuki was there. They didn't really have an event so much as just like a meet and greet session, but a PlayStation 4 teaser titled Shenmue 3, the first teaser, like the most unexciting title you can ever give a teaser, the first teaser.
Yeah. Yeah.
Released. And on top of that, apparently a new logo. So we're going to discuss our thoughts on those and react. And so I want to hear, George, you have some very strong opinions on what we saw.
You know what? At first, I was really angry that it looked the way it did because I didn't know what it was. When you put a teaser up, you expect it to be kind of like finished work. Activision, Sega, they don't release trailers and then release unfinished stuff. Like, they don't put like no animation on the faces like this trailer has. That was why I was upset. But now that I saw the email they sent to backers, they say it's a progress video. If they just called the video a progress teaser trailer and made sure that it said progress and emphasized that it's unfinished and this is not what they want the finished product to look like, I think a lot of the internet wouldn't hate them as much as they do. I just feel like the Shenmue 3, I don't even want to call it, PR team is very inadequate.
Yeah.
I think that's their biggest enemy. I don't think it's bad that they released this as progress. I think some fans would say that this is pretty bad considering that it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
My main concern is they're going to blow through I think they already blew through the $8 million that they funded from Kickstarter. And I think this is why they just announced the Deep Silver Publishing partnership. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. I think the backgrounds look good. I think I don't like the art style they're going for. I think they're going for a more cartoony, play-looking Street Fighter V art style. I'm not a big fan of that because I feel like the first game was always about being as realistic as possible and paying attention to the little details, and I don't think they've shown that yet, at least. What do you think?
Well, when I first saw it, I don't really get angry at things anymore. I either just kind of go silent if I don't like what I see, or
too much disappointment.
Yeah, and so if you'll notice on our SEGA Bits Discord, I didn't say much, and I was like reading what people were saying, and I just wasn't replying because it was just kind of like it was a mixed bag for me, and I'm kind of over just the way the internet reacts to things now. Like I was on there, and there were people from like Nintendo Life and other fan sites for Sega and video game sites, and they were like, "So this is the worst fucking thing I've ever seen," and I'm like, "Is it?" Because I've seen some really bad games. I don't know. I don't expect Uncharted graphics. Like, I'll be honest, when I got my PS4, I was like, holy shit, video games look like this? Like, I've been playing Dreamcast games up until, like, last year,
But at the same time, I think that facial animation was a very crucial part to Shenmue.
Yes.
And I think that not having it was a big blow for a lot of fans.
Yes, and so I will say that in terms of just the graphics, the visuals on display, not talking about facial animation, I think the environments are beautiful. I really like how it's like an over-the-top sort of presentation of them. It's very kind of surreal, but real. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the environments were the best part of the trailer.
Yeah, and I will say that I think the character models themselves, I like the texture on Ryo's jacket. The clothes don't really hang off the characters. Like Shenhua, you can kind of just see the shirt just kind of sitting on her. It's not draping off her, but I'm not really expecting that level of detail. But yeah, I think the big mistake here is that I feel like with Shenmue 3, the development team are doing a lot of the PR work, which is something you don't want developers doing. Developers are good at developing games. PR people and your marketing team are good at taking what's there and, using their brains and thinking, should we put out footage of people's faces not moving? To them, to the developers, they're like, well, yeah, this is a work in progress. Look at how good all the other stuff looks. But people are going to look at what looks wrong. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You don't see movies like Star Wars putting out trailers and the motion capture characters haven't been put in yet, and you see an actor with like ping pong balls hanging off of them, And that's
exactly, I think a lot of people reacted to this being a teaser trailer thinking that this is going to be the final product, and it's not.
Yeah. What I really think they should have done here is that they should have kicked off the video. First, don't call it a teaser, call it like development update or something like that, and have Yu Suzuki there, and then show us, show him talking to some of the developers, and then cut away and show some of this footage and say, in progress footage, not final, and either have Yu Suzuki or a narrator or something mention that the facial animation is not final, because I'm 100% certain the game will not ship with everyone's faces just like locked into place like that.
So this trailer also showed a lot of new things. Like they showed new enemies or masters. I don't really know. There's a guy with the what's those things called? The little suspenders. Yeah.
I'm really glad you're bringing this up because I feel like a lot of people are complaining about it, but this is our biggest look at Shenmue 3 right now. So just put those complaints aside. We see the room with the two mirrors from the end of the sequel.
Yeah.
There. That's huge. That's really cool.
I like the idea that he's also, training with Chinese people and like working up his skill to, face Lan Di. I think that's going to be the ending, right?
Yeah. We see them go out there. Shenhua's pointing, so I'm assuming that's the direction they're going. There's a little tower there, so maybe she's like, we should go to that village. And then, like you said, he's training with these guys. There's some people have complained about this guy, the guy with the suspenders, his face, but that face is like 100% Shenmue.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Like, I know, but so many of the even the sketches for the first two games and the in-game characters, they looked goofy like that,
Exactly, and there was people like in the bar, those gangsters, they looked really ugly too. And then there was that guy that was blue that you met out of nowhere in the one of the buildings in Shenmue 2. Mm-hmm. That guy didn't really look normal. I think if he was in the trailer, people would have complained if they never showed him before.
Yeah.
So they've done some outlandish stuff.
Oh, for sure. And I believe we see her house again. I think we see them kind of running up to each other under the tree. And then we see some beautiful shots of the water. It all looks really nice. It's a shame that they presented this in such a professional manner, but did the most unprofessional thing of putting unanimated faces.
Frankly, I think they should have just been an environment trailer and then showed off all the environments with them standing still in them, like in the beginning where they showed the fire. Mm-hmm. I think it looked great. If I saw that and that's the only time I saw characters, I probably wouldn't have complained because I think the backgrounds are really, really nice.
Now let's talk about that new logo. So when this went out there, well, first off, we saw a still image, and we did a SEGA News Bits on that, but this kind of overwrote that, so that's an unreleased SEGA News Bits, I guess.
Yeah.
But we talked about, like, is this the new logo? What the hell's going on? And then this trailer hit, and the new logo's there again, and it's like, what was it, back in June, wasn't it? Yu Suzuki was like, we updated the logo. It's the Shenmue logo you all know, and it looks better, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, and everyone was like, oh, it looks great, awesome. And then Yu Suzuki out of nowhere is like, and I'll read the quote. In the backer update, he said, I really wanted to bring home the Shenmue logo because this belongs to all of you, and I know how passionate everyone feels about it. As the result, I felt the design should come more from the heart. So, with more than a bit of trepidation, I took brush to hand. I believe we have reached the design that will please, but let me know what you think. Well, Mr. Suzuki, I don't like it. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not a big huge fan of the logo. It's not going to kill me if they use that. I understand where he's coming from, but I think they should have stuck with the other logo too.
He says, I know how passionate everyone feels about the logo, but I don't understand what he's saying, because he says he wants to bring it home, but the Shenmue logo was always the Shenmue logo.
Maybe Sega had some copyright things with it?
That's what some people have been saying. He says, I know how passionate everyone feels about it, and as a result, I wanted to have it come from the heart. And it's like, well, did the first logo not come from the heart? And if we're so passionate about the logo, why did you change it? I just don't understand. And from a design standpoint, I don't like how it's written, because when you look at I'll call it the original Shenmue logo, each letter kind of had equal space to it. This one, it starts with huge S, almost like I said before, kind of like an Arabian S or Shantae, like it looks like, it doesn't feel Chinese or Japanese to me. And then the letters feel really squished and skinny after that. So you kind of see the she, and then it gets a little jumbled in there, and then the 3.
I'm not a graphic designer. I prefer the old one too. But maybe they're right. Maybe Sega did have something to do with it. I just wish they were more open with us. This is supposed to be a fan crowdsourcing project. Mm-hmm. You should tell your crowd what's going on behind the scenes, at least if you could tell us.
Yeah, and if it's not a issue with that, put it up to a vote. Say, do you guys want the new logo or the old one? I'm going to vote for the old one. No offense to, Mr. Suzuki. So what do you guys think of the new trailer or teaser progress video? What do you think of those faces? Do they creep you out? Do you want them to move? And how about that logo? You can sound off in the comments below, and if you know any good place to take a leak around the harbor, please let me know.
Thanks for watching, everybody.